So for the very first week of school, we don't actually do any schoolwork. It has been a crazy week. I have spent a ton of time doing preparation, getting all of my projects together and all of the shopping and all of the ordering of books and everything. I'm getting ready for the school year, but I wanted to share something with you about how we're going to start our year with our kickoff week, because this is really pivotal when it comes to the tone that you set for the whole year. So when my kids were in public school, I would go to the back to school day, and the teacher would talk about, here's our point system and here's our punishment expectations and here's basically how we're going to do crowd control. And I remember being really off-put by it. I just thought, I don't like that I have to get here, we're only talking to each other a little bit throughout the school year, and this is what we're talking about, is how you're going to discipline my child. And yet it is so important that you actually have this in place, or else you cannot do anything with the school year. So this is kind of that same idea, only cool. It's going to be a lot of fun the way that we do it. So, and you can do it however you want to do it. This is just how I do it, how I have my kickoff week set up. So for the very first week of school, we don't actually do any schoolwork. We don't do anything that is technically school. It's just a setup for what the rest of the year is going to be. So I'm going to give you a quick summary here at the beginning, and then you can bail if that's all you want. And then I'm going to go deep dive into exactly how this week is going to look for us. So the first day, we're going to go over the phases of learning. And I have another video on phases of learning if you want to get into the details of what that entails. But essentially, we talk about core phase, which is learning right and wrong, true and false, good and bad, and you work and you play together. And that's from about 0 to 8 years old, from 0 to 8 years old. And then you have love of learner phase, which is the phase where they're just exposed to so many things in the world and they're really excited about learning everything. And so we spend a little bit of time talking about what that is. And then scholar phase, which is when they're really willing to put in a lot of the effort and long hours and hard work studying lots and lots of subjects. And so I kind of put these out there for them and then let them tell me, where do you think you are? Which phase do you think you are? What do you enjoy? Which of these phases sounds like, hey, wow, that's awesome? Because if they're in core or love of learning, they're going to hear scholar phase and think, yeah, no, thank you. But if they're in scholar phase, they'll look back on the love of learner phase and they'll think, that was fun, but I really do want to learn a lot about biology right now. So they'll know where they are just by you describing what those phases are. So that's our first day. The second day, we focus on something that is just pivotal to a successful homeschool, but we don't actually talk about it very much when it comes to homeschooling. And that is these 4 skills of, I'll hit these, I'll talk about those in a minute, but just how you interact with each other when you have to do the work of being a family, giving instructions and giving corrections and dealing with chores and all that. These books are so important. These skills are so important to be able to succeed in that. And so we're going to spend the second day focused on that. Then the third day, we are going to introduce the inspiration loop. And the inspiration loop for me is part of our daily schedule that is all the stuff that we just love doing that's so much fun. I have another video on our inspiration loop that we did a couple years ago. The one we're doing this year is a little bit modified from that, but it's basically the same thing. It's a lot of fun things that the kids get to be exposed to and find the joy and the passion in learning. So Thursday will be projects. And when I think about homeschool, one of the things that I feel is really, really important is that we do project learning. I cannot do it every day. That's not how I teach. It's not how I can learn, but we do it one time every single week. And so Thursday of the foundation week, we're going to talk about all the projects that we're doing throughout the year and really focus in on all the fun and all the excitement that we're going to have when it comes to those projects. And then our last day on Friday, we're going to talk about the theme for the year, and we're also going to talk about all of the field trips that we're doing. So the point of this week is to get everybody super excited. It's to really let everybody know what our roles are going to be. I've decided this in, this structure. I've come up with this, and this is kind of how our week's going to look, and this is how our year is going to look. But there's so much freedom inside of this, and that's where you get to choose and you get to be a part of this. And there's so much to look forward to. We are just really excited about everything. There's going to be math every day, but that's not a part of Foundation Week. Foundation Week is all about the stuff that is fun that they have to look forward to get them really inspired and excited about what's coming up. So that is it for the summary. If that's all you wanted, you're good, off you go. But let me now get into the details of what our Foundation Week is actually going to look like. So Monday morning, we're going to, I hope I can find a jawbreaker. I don't know, I haven't been able to find one yet, but I want one of those candies that has all those layers in it, and then we can crack it and see inside all the layers so that they can see we start in the middle and then you have all these layers that build out. And that is how education is. That's how learning is. That's how life is. And so I want to show them the core phase is right there at the middle. And then the love of learning phase just goes around the core phase, and we still take care of our core phase. And then we have our scholar phase that goes around the outside of that. And we don't ever lose any of these things that we've gained. We build out and out and out and become better and better through time by having these experiences. So I want to use that as a visual aid. And then we also are going to set up our vortex, which has that same idea that there's something right at the center and everything else rotates around it. And so we're going to set that up and allow them to play with that after we've talked about the different phases and see which one they think they're in. Then we just turn it over to them, play with the vortex for the rest of the day so that they can have a lot of fun on that. And one more thing I'm thinking about doing for that day, I had this thing where I was teaching the kids last year. We were talking about helium and how it's lighter than air. And so I told a story about when I was a little kid, I had this helium balloon and something happened and it startled me, and I ran to go see what the sound was, and I let go of my balloon. And it floated up into the sky and I lost it. And I was so sad. At that time, it was so hard to lose that balloon. And I think he was 6 at the time, my little boy cried and cried and cried. I'm not joking, for like 20 minutes. And I started out, I was like, buddy, it's good. I'm 40. I'm over it. It's fine. It's okay. And he would just not be comforted. He was inconsolable. And it took so long to calm him down. And we finally said, hey, listen, how about we go to the store and get me another balloon, and then I will feel so much better. And he was just so relieved to know that he could fix this pain from my childhood, which honestly, I think I've scarred him for life with this story. But whatever. And so he went to the store, they got this balloon, and they brought it back, and apparently I was made whole. And he certainly felt so much happier knowing that I had this balloon again. So I'm thinking about getting balloons just to talk about how important relationships are, and what a great example that was of him caring more about me than he cared about himself, because he just wanted to fix that hurt inside of me. And that's a great example of what core face is. Plus, balloons are fun. So might be doing that for that first day as well. And then on Tuesday, when we're reviewing these 4 skills, let me just go over, I do have a video on this, go check out the video, but the point is these are 4 skills that kids absolutely need to make it through life. And I've seen homeschools fall apart that are doing a fabulous job at the schooling, the education part, but they haven't got this part down. Accepting a no answer, disagreeing appropriately, accepting instructions, accepting correction, all of these things. If the kids don't have these skills, and if you don't have these skills as a mom, then it really doesn't matter how great your math program is, your homeschool is going to fall apart. So we will take this, and then I will have a cakewalk where there's just different colored papers around the room, and I'll turn on music and the kids will walk around, turn off the music, and then I will pull out of a bowl the color. And whatever color that is, they have to practice. You know, if they're accepting a no answer, then they'll say, hey mom, can I fly to the moon today? And I'll say, no. And then they practice calm face, voice, and body, look at me and say, okay. Once they have practiced that skill with me, I'll give them a piece of paper that's that color. And as soon as all of my kids have all of those colors, we go get a treat. So that's how we're going to really solidify, just reminding them how to do these particular skills. When it comes to Inspiration Loop, I have so many resources. There are so many things that we're going to be doing for Inspiration Loop throughout the year, but I really want them to have an idea of what they are, because a major part of the Inspiration Loop is going to be them choosing it. They get to say, today I want to do this for inspiration. So again, I have a video on an inspiration loop, how to create a loop, but I will say today we are doing, say, poetry, and then they will get to decide what they want to do for poetry. And so I will have around the room, just for each of the inspiration loop items, I will have a bunch of the resources laid out so that they can look at it and say, oh, this is what's coming up and this is what I can choose from when we happen to get to craft. We have, I don't know if you're familiar with this. This is diamond painting, and my kids love diamond painting. We also have sticker by numbers that they can do, paint by numbers, a lot of different crafts that are available to them. You know, I will have it written down so they'll be able to see what the list is, but they'll have seen it and interacted with it so they know, oh, I really love diamond painting. Let's actually do that. And just to make it be a little more interactive that day, I'm going to give them numbers. And so they get to choose which ones they think should be first, second, third, and then we're going to choose one that we'll do that day as the big activity. So then for Thursday, we're going to be doing projects. Now, when it came to projects this year, how I had my kids do it is I said, go pick out your favorite books from Magic Tree House, and we're not necessarily going to read them. I just want you to go pick out the ones that you think are coolest. And so they did. They all brought me 2 or 3, and I looked at them and I found some patterns in them, sort of, grouped them together and said, okay, I see that these are the things that you think are really cool, and I built some projects off of that. So when it comes to projects, I'm literally going to take these books that they chose, I'm going to put them around the room, plus a bunch of other books that I've gathered that are going to work for those projects that are in the library. I don't have them right now, but I'll get all those books, I'll put them in piles so that they get to see each project and what some of the cool stuff is that comes with that project. And then they'll get to take turns choosing one of the piles. And when they do that, I will just kind of talk about the things that we're going to do. So for instance, when we're going to be doing the Da Vinci one, I'll say we are also going to be making some pizza, and we're going to be doing some oil painting with these canvases that we bought. So we'll be doing that. We're going to the Wright Brothers Museum because we live on the East Coast, so we can just drive out there and see that. And we're also going to be making bridges out of tongue depressors. So just a couple of ideas. We'll be doing a ton more than that throughout the course of the project, but I just want to have some high points for them so that they can see, oh, this is going to be really exciting. And they get to choose each of the piles. I will go through and I'll just couple of the things that's going to be really fun and exciting in that project. And then for the rest of the day, I'm just going to let them sort of peruse those books and look through, because there are so many books to each of these projects that we're really not going to have time to get through all of them. And I want them to have a chance to look at what they might be interested in pursuing once we do get to that project. So that's really important for that day, not just to say, hey, this is cool, but it'll give me an idea of where we might want to pursue when we get there. And the last day is going over our theme and talking about the field trips that we're going to be doing throughout the year. We had a theme last year, which was we increase our testimony by recognizing and following promptings. And then every single Friday, so every day in our opener, we would repeat that theme, and then we would say, what have you recognized a prompting, anything that's you feel like you should do something good, or you can tell something's true. Have you had anything like that in your life? And so that was a daily thing that we sort of repeated with them. But then in addition to that, every Friday we would make cookies, and I would ask them, hey, who do you think these cookies belong to? Who should we deliver these cookies to? So that they could take the time to think about other people and decide what prompting do I have? How can I choose to really listen to this feeling of how I can be a good person and help other people? So that was the way that I tried to put it into practice. And I gotta be honest, we did not do it every week. We probably did it every other week, maybe. But it was consistent, it was just not weekly. And so we want to do the same thing this year. Our theme, I wanted to have something to do with trust, and also choice. Choice is really important to me this year. I just feel like that's really important to be focused on, and service. These are the things that they are sort of sitting on my heart. I feel like that's important. I want to create some sort of a theme that we can say every single day having to do with those 3 items. And then on Fridays, we'll have an opportunity to go out and serve somebody. And so we'll talk about the different service opportunities that we might have available to us. And we're also going to go over the field trips, which are a ton of fun. I've got several kids who think field trips are all we should do ever. And so this is really important to them that we have field trips. And I think we're going to go to a seaside town, and it's a really quaint, adorable town with also some pirate museums there from Blackbeard. So we're going to go check that out and let the kids have a good time with a field trip that day. So basically every day we're going to give a little sampling of what we're going to do throughout the rest of the year. I know this has been a ton of information, and I don't know actually how it's going to go, but I hope it's going to be amazing. And if you have a kickoff week, if you do anything to get your tone set for the year, I hope that it goes really well for you. You are doing stuff that really matters. It makes such a difference in your kids' lives, in your family's lives, and everybody's lives around you, and you're doing much better than you think you are. Keep it up. I'll see you in the next one.